Kayla stood near the wide observation corridor of the space station, where the lights were always a little dim and the metal floor carried the soft hum of distant engines. Around her, many species moved through the hall, each shaped by different worlds and different rules of survival. Some were small and quick, others thin and tall, some covered in plates or fur. Kayla was larger than almost all of them. Her body was built for heavy gravity. Her shoulders were broad, her arms thick with strength, and her legs strong enough to carry great weight without strain. Even standing still, she took up space. The floor beneath her feet was reinforced, yet she could feel the subtle vibration of her own weight through the metal. She had learned long ago to move slowly, carefully, so others would not panic. Most did anyway. As Kayla walked through the corridor, conversations softened. Eyes turned away. Alien males adjusted their paths to avoid crossing in front of her. Some pressed themselves closer to the walls. Others stopped completely, waiting until she passed. Their fear was quiet but clear, a tension in the air that followed her like a shadow. Kayla pretended not to notice. She kept her gaze forward, her expression calm and unreadable. She had practiced this look for years. Showing emotion only made others more uncomfortable. Silence was safer. Distance was easier. She remembered a time when she had tried to speak first. When she was younger, new to the station, she had greeted others with polite words. The responses had been short and strained. Some had flinched when she moved her hands. Others had made excuses to leave. A few had stared at her with open fear. Over time, Kayla had learned her lesson. She stopped trying. Now she lived in quiet isolation, moving between her quarters and her assigned work areas with as little contact as possible. Her job required strength, lifting heavy cargo, stabilizing equipment designed for massive loads. She did the work well. No one argued with her skill. But when the shift ended, no one invited her to stay. Kayla spent her rest hours alone. Her living space was larger than most, not because of comfort but necessity. Standard rooms could not support her weight safely. The walls were thick, the floor reinforced. The room was plain, with simple furnishings fixed in place. She liked it that way. There was nothing to break, nothing to remind her that she did not fit. Sometimes she sat by the small viewport and watched the stars. The station drifted between systems, a crossroads of trade and travel. Ships came and went, carrying crews who laughed together, argued together, lived together. Kayla watched in silence. She wondered what it would be like to be seen without fear. She had been told since childhood that her kind was strong, respected, even admired on some worlds. But here, among so many species, her size made her an unknown danger. Strength without context became threat. She accepted that. On the station, alien males were often the first to avoid her. Many species placed importance on size and dominance. To them, Kayla looked like a challenge they could not win. Some saw her as an obstacle. Others saw her as something that should not exist in shared space. Their reactions hurt less now than they once had. Kayla had learned how to turn that pain into numbness. She focused on routine. Routine was safe. One cycle, as Kayla crossed a busy junction, a group of traders approached from the opposite direction. Their voices were loud, their movements loose with confidence. When they noticed her, the group slowed. One by one, they shifted away, creating a wide, empty path around her. Kayla stopped walking. She waited. The traders passed without meeting her eyes. One of them whispered something, and the others laughed nervously. The sound followed her long after they were gone. Kayla felt her hands curl into fists, then slowly relax. She took a steady breath and continued on her way. She did not blame them. Fear was natural. That was what she told herself, again and again. In the lower cargo levels, where the ceilings were high and the machinery loud, Kayla felt more at ease. Noise covered silence. Machines did not fear her. They responded only to input and force, things she understood well. She spent hours securing freight, adjusting stabilizers, moving massive crates that would crush smaller workers. Supervisors gave her space but trusted her to handle the hardest tasks. That trust was practical, not personal. Kayla accepted it anyway. At the end of her shift, she cleaned her tools and stored them carefully. Order gave her peace. As she walked back toward the lifts, she noticed the station felt busier than usual. New arrivals, new crews. New eyes. Kayla kept her head down. She passed through the central ring once more. The same reactions followed her. Avoidance. Silence. Fear. She paused near a transparent wall and watched a group of smaller beings laugh together. Their joy felt distant, like light seen through thick glass. She wondered if they knew how lucky they were. Kayla had learned to live without hope of connection. It was easier that way. Expect nothing, feel nothing. Still, a small part of her watched the crowd and wished quietly for something different. She did not know that this cycle would change everything. She did not know that among the new arrivals was one human who would look at her and not look away. She did not know that a simple smile could break years of silence. For now, Kayla stood alone, enormous and still, believing that fear was all the station would ever give her. Adam Brooks arrived on the station with a small tool case in one hand and a folded data pad in the other. He moved with the easy pace of someone used to travel, used to new places and strange rules. The station was loud and busy, filled with voices speaking many languages at once. Lights reflected off metal walls, and the floor vibrated gently under constant motion. Adam liked places like this. He had worked on many stations before, some clean and quiet, others old and patched together. This one felt alive. Systems hummed around him, air vents breathed softly, and distant engines pulsed like a slow heart. His job was simple in theory. Several power systems needed repair and adjustment. In practice, it meant long hours crawling through access halls and working in tight spaces. Adam did not mind. He followed the signs toward the central ring, checking his data pad as he walked. He noted repair points and estimated time. He was focused but not blind to his surroundings. Years of moving through crowded places had taught him to watch people as much as machines. As he entered a wide hall, the crowd thickened. Traders, workers, and travelers moved in loose streams, adjusting paths without thought. Adam slowed his pace slightly, letting others pass. That was when he noticed the space opening ahead of him. At first, he thought there had been an accident. People were moving aside too quickly, pressing toward the walls. Then he saw why. Kayla stood in the center of the hall. Adam had never seen anyone quite like her. She was tall, far taller than most beings on the station. Her body was wide and strong, built with heavy muscle that spoke of great strength. She stood still, shoulders slightly drawn inward as if trying to make herself smaller. The crowd flowed around her like water around stone. Adam felt the shift in the air. Fear. Caution. He recognized it easily. He had seen it directed at machines gone wrong, at unknown species, at anyone who did not fit expectation. He watched as Kayla tried to move forward. Each time she took a step, someone cut across her path or stopped suddenly, forcing her to pause. Her movements were slow and careful, but the crowd reacted as if she might strike without warning. Adam saw her hands tighten, then relax. He saw her eyes stay forward, refusing to meet anyone else's gaze. Adam stopped walking. He did not feel fear. He felt curiosity and something else beneath it. Sadness, maybe. He saw not a threat, but a person trapped by the reactions of others. He stepped forward, then to the side. Instead of pulling back or turning away, Adam simply moved out of her path. He gave her space, clear and open, and smiled. It was not a big smile. It was not forced. It was the kind of smile he used when passing someone in a narrow hall, polite and calm. Kayla noticed. She froze. Her eyes shifted toward him, sharp and uncertain. Adam met her gaze without staring. He kept his posture relaxed, his hands visible and empty. He waited. For a moment, time felt strange. The noise of the station faded into the background. Kayla had expected many things in her life. Fear. Anger. Orders to move faster. She had not expected this. A smile. No tension. No warning signs. No sudden movement. Confusion washed over her, stronger than fear had ever been. Adam nodded once, a small gesture of acknowledgement, and stepped a little farther aside to give her room. He did not rush her. He did not speak. He simply stood there, patient. Kayla hesitated, then took a step forward. Nothing happened. No alarms. No shouts. Adam remained still, calm. The crowd slowly adjusted, following his example. A few others stopped pressing forward. Space opened, not wide but enough. Kayla walked past him. As she did, Adam noticed the careful way she moved, the way she controlled her strength. He noticed how she avoided contact, how she kept her arms close to her body. These were not the actions of someone careless or dangerous. As she passed, Adam spoke softly. Morning. It was a simple word, offered without expectation. Kayla did not answer. She did not know how. Her mind was still caught on the smile, on the lack of fear. She walked on, heart pounding, feeling as if the floor beneath her feet had shifted. Adam watched her go, then continued on his way. He did not think much of it at first. To him, it had been a small moment, a simple choice. He had seen someone struggling and made space. That was all. But as he moved deeper into the station, he found his thoughts returning to her. He wondered how long she had lived with that kind of avoidance. He wondered what it felt like to be feared without reason. Later that cycle, Adam found himself back in the same hall. He carried a coil of cable over his shoulder, heading toward a repair site. The crowd was thinner now. He saw Kayla again. She stood near a wall as if waiting for the flow of traffic to slow. Adam recognized her immediately. This time she noticed him too. Their eyes met briefly. Kayla expected something. A change. A look of fear now that the moment had passed. But Adam's expression was the same as before. Come. Open. He smiled again. Kayla's breath caught. She looked away quickly, unsure how to respond. No one had smiled at her like that before, not without reason or fear behind it. Adam walked past her without stopping, giving her the same space he gave everyone else. He did not stare. He did not slow down to make a point. That made it worse somehow. Kayla felt her carefully built walls shake. She had learned to read reactions like survival signs. This one did not fit any pattern she knew. Over the next few days, Adam and Kayla crossed paths often. The station was large, but routines overlapped. Each time, Adam treated her the same way. A nod. A smile. Sometimes a quiet greeting. Never fear. Kayla did not know what to do with that. She found herself watching him when she thought he would not notice. She saw how he spoke to others, how he listened more than he talked. She saw him help a smaller worker lift a crate, joke with a trader, thank a maintenance unit after a repair. He did not act brave. He acted normal. That, more than anything, unsettled her. One cycle, as Kayla finished her shift, she found Adam working near one of the heavy power conduits she maintained. A panel was open, tools spread neatly beside him. He looked up as she approached. "Hi," he said. "You work this sector, right?" Kayla nodded slowly. "I could use your advice," Adam continued. "This system feels off. Stronger than expected." He was asking for her knowledge. Not because she was big. Not because he feared her reaction. Because he trusted her skill. Kayla answered carefully, explaining the load patterns and the pressure shifts. Adam listened closely, asking questions, taking notes. When they finished, he smiled again. "Thanks," he said. "That helped a lot." As Adam returned to his work, Kayla stood there, heart racing. Anger would have been easier. Fear would have been familiar. This quiet respect confused her more than anything she had known. And somewhere deep inside, something long asleep began to wake. Trust, slow and uncertain, took its first breath. Adam and Kayla began to see each other often after that first real conversation. It was never planned. The station was large, but their work areas overlapped and routines slowly aligned. Adam worked on systems that powered heavy sections of the station. Kayla maintained the structural supports and cargo zones. Their paths crossed naturally without effort. At first, their talks were short. Adam would greet her with a simple hello, or good shift. Kayla would answer with a nod or a quiet word. Her voice was low, careful, as if she feared it might sound wrong. Adam never rushed her. He never filled silence just to avoid it. He seemed comfortable letting moments breathe. That made it easier. One day, Adam asked, "How long have you worked cargo support?" Kayla paused, surprised by the question. No one had asked her that before. They usually assumed she had always done heavy work, as if her body decided her life for her. 7 cycles, she replied. Adam nodded. That's a long time. You must know this station better than most. Kayla felt something warm settle in her chest. I know how it moves, she said after a moment. How it sounds when something is wrong. Adam smiled. That's exactly what good systems people say. He did not laugh. He did not sound impressed in a shallow way. He simply accepted her answer as truth. As cycles passed, their conversations grew longer. Adam asked about the cargo routes, the weight limits, the old sections that creaked under pressure. Kayla explained patiently. She found she enjoyed sharing what she knew. Adam listened closely, never interrupting, never acting bored. When Kayla spoke, Adam looked at her face, not her size. His eyes did not wander. His body language stayed open and relaxed. He treated her like any other coworker. That alone felt strange. Kayla had spent so much of her life being watched carefully, as if others waited for her to make a mistake. With Adam she did not feel that weight. She felt normal. One cycle, Adam shared a meal with her in a quiet maintenance bay. He had noticed she always ate alone and asked if she wanted company. He had asked, not assumed. Kayla had hesitated, then agreed. They sat on reinforced crates, eating simple food from sealed containers. Adam talked about his home world, about long trains and wide skies. Kayla listened, curious. When she asked questions, he answered honestly, without pride or embarrassment. He asked about her world too. No one had ever asked her that. Kayla spoke of heavy gravity and thick air, of stone cities carved deep into the ground. She spoke of learning to walk under pressure, of muscles trained from childhood. Adam listened with wide interest, not fear. "That sounds hard," he said gently. "It was normal," Kayla replied. Adam shook his head slightly. "Normal doesn't mean easy." That sentence stayed with her. Over time, Kayla noticed how Adam treated everyone. He spoke kindly to station staff, thanked service workers, waited patiently when systems failed. He judged people by how they acted, not how they looked or how strong they were. She began to understand something important. Humans did not ignore danger. They chose not to assume it. One cycle, a small accident occurred in the cargo ring. A support brace slipped and a container tilted dangerously. Alarms sounded and workers scattered. Kayla moved without thinking. She stepped in, braced the load with her body and held it steady. Adam was there. Instead of shouting or panicking, he helped secure the brace, calling out clear instructions. He trusted Kayla to hold the weight. He did not doubt her control. Together they fixed the problem quickly. Afterward, other workers stared at them in silence. Adam turned to Kayla and said, "Nice work." No fear. No hesitation. Kayla felt something shift again. Later, as they walked through the corridor, Kayla spoke quietly. "Most think I am dangerous." Adam considered that. "Some people fear what they don't understand," he said. "Others never try to understand." "And you?" Kayla asked. Adam smiled. "I ask questions." That answer felt honest. Kayla realized she had started to look forward to seeing him. Not because he made her feel special, but because he made her feel equal. He did not place her above or below himself. Just beside. That was new. Other beings began to notice the change. They saw Adam walking with Kayla, talking easily. They saw her standing taller, her movements less guarded. Slowly, very slowly, others followed Adam's example. A few greeted her. Some asked for her help. Kayla noticed everything. She still remembered the years of silence, the way fear had shaped her life. Those memories did not vanish. But now they shared space with something else. Respect. One quiet cycle, Kayla thanked Adam. "For what?" he asked. "For seeing me," she said. Adam looked surprised, then thoughtful. "You were always there," he replied. "I just paid attention." Kayla realized then that humanity's strength was not loud. It was not built on force or fear. It was built on choice. The choice to smile. The choice to listen. The choice to treat someone as a person first. For the first time in her life, Kayla did not feel like an obstacle in the path of others. She felt like part of the station. And that changed everything. Adam and Kayla began to see each other more often after that first real conversation near the cargo systems. At first it felt like chance. The station was large, with many levels and corridors, but their work slowly brought them into the same places at the same times. Adam repaired power lines, stabilizers, and control panels that fed energy into heavy sections of the station. Kayla inspected the structures that carried that weight, checking beams, anchors, and cargo locks. Their jobs touched the same bones of the station. Their meetings were quiet in the beginning. Adam would notice Kayla across a corridor or near a control console and greet her with a simple hello or good shift. Kayla would answer with a nod or a short reply. Her voice stayed low and careful, as if she worried that speaking too much might draw the wrong kind of attention. Adam never pushed for more. He never asked questions that felt too personal too soon. He seemed content to let the space between them stay calm and unforced. That calm made things easier for Kayla. She was used to people filling silence with nervous movement or quick excuses to leave. Adam did neither. He worked near her without tension, focused on his task, sometimes humming softly while adjusting tools. The sound was strange to her at first. It was relaxed, unguarded. One cycle, while they waited for a system to reset, Adam asked, "How long have you worked cargo support?" The question surprised Kayla enough that she did not answer right away. No one had ever asked her that with real interest. Most assumed she had always done heavy labor, that her body had decided her path before she ever had a choice. 7 cycles, she said at last. Adam nodded slowly. "That's a long time. You must know this station better than most." Kayla felt something warm settle in her chest, unfamiliar and steady. "I know how it moves," she replied. "How it sounds when something is wrong." Adam smiled, not wide or dramatic, just genuine. "That's exactly what good systems people say." He did not laugh. He did not sound impressed in a shallow way. He accepted her words as fact, as experience earned, not assumed. That acceptance stayed with her long after the system came back online. As cycles passed, their conversations grew longer. Adam asked about cargo routes and balance limits, about older sections of the station that creaked under pressure. Kayla explained patiently, pointing out stress marks and vibration patterns. She found that she enjoyed teaching him and he enjoyed learning. He listened without interrupting, without acting bored or distracted. When Kayla spoke, Adam looked at her face, not her size. His eyes did not wander. His posture stayed open and relaxed. He did not brace himself or keep extra distance unless space required it. He treated her like any other coworker standing beside him. That simple behavior felt strange. Kayla had spent so much of her life being watched carefully, as if others waited for her to lose control. With Adam, she did not feel observed in that way. She felt normal. The constant tension in her shoulders eased little by little, though she did not notice it at first. One cycle, Adam noticed Kayla sitting alone during a rest period in a quiet maintenance bay. He paused, then asked, "Mind if I sit?" He waited for her answer. Kayla hesitated. Eating was something she had always done alone. It was safer that way. Still, she nodded. They sat on reinforced crates, eating simple meals from sealed containers. Adam talked about his home world, about long trains that crossed open land and skies that stretched wide and blue. Kayla listened closely, picturing places she had never seen. When she asked questions, Adam answered honestly, without pride or embarrassment. Then he asked about her world. No one had ever asked her that. Kayla spoke of heavy gravity and thick air, of stone cities carved deep into the ground. She spoke of learning to walk under pressure, of muscles trained from childhood just to move. She expected him to react with fear or discomfort. Adam listened with interest instead. "That sounds hard," he said quietly. "It was normal," Kayla replied. Adam shook his head slightly. "Normal doesn't mean easy." The words stayed with her long after the meal ended. As time passed, Kayla noticed how Adam treated everyone on the station. He spoke kindly to cleaning crews and engineers alike. He thanked service workers and waited patiently when systems failed. When mistakes happened, he focused on fixing them, not blaming someone else. He judged people by what they did, not how they looked or how strong they were. Kayla began to understand something important. Humans did not ignore danger. They chose not to assume it. One cycle, an accident happened in the cargo ring. A support brace slipped, and a heavy container tilted at a dangerous angle. Alarms sounded sharp and loud. Workers scattered, shouting warnings. Kayla moved without thinking. She stepped forward and braced the container with her body, feet planted wide, muscles tight but controlled. The weight pressed against her, heavy but manageable. Adam was there. Instead of panicking or shouting at her to move, he rushed to secure the brace, calling out clear instructions to others. He trusted Kayla to hold the load. He did not question her strength or her control. Together, they stabilized the container and shut down the alarms. When it was over, the ring fell silent. Other workers stared at them, uncertain and amazed. Adam turned to Kayla and said, "Nice work." No fear. No hesitation. Kayla felt something shift deep inside her, something she had kept locked away for years. Later, as they walked through a quieter corridor, Kayla spoke softly. "Most think I am dangerous." Adam considered her words carefully. "Some people fear what they don't understand," he said. "Others never try to understand." "And you?" Kayla asked. Adam smiled. "I ask questions." The answer felt honest and complete. Kayla realized she had started to look forward to seeing him. Not because he made her feel special or different, but because he made her feel equal. He did not place her above himself or below himself. Just beside. That was new. Other beings began to notice the change. They saw Adam walking with Kayla, talking easily. They saw her standing taller, her movements less guarded. Slowly, very slowly, others followed his example. A few greeted her. Some asked for her help. Kayla noticed everything. She still remembered the years of silence, the long corridors walked alone, the fear reflected in other eyes. Those memories did not vanish. But now they shared space with something else. Respect. One quiet cycle, Kayla thanked Adam. "For what?" he asked. "For seeing me," she said. Adam looked surprised, then thoughtful. "You were always there," he replied. "I just paid attention." Kayla understood then that humanity's strength was not loud. It was not built on force or fear. It was built on choice. The choice to smile. The choice to listen. The choice to treat someone as a person first. For the first time in her life, Kayla did not feel like an obstacle in the path of others. She felt like part of the station. And that changed everything. After the incident in the cargo ring, Kayla noticed the change almost at once. It was not loud or sudden, but it was real. When she walked through the station halls, fewer beings stepped away from her path. Some still did, out of habit or old fear, but others paused, looked up, and nodded. A few even spoke. Simple words like greetings or thanks, but they mattered more than long speeches ever could. Kayla felt unsure how to respond at first. Her body still remembered years of silence. Her mind still expected fear. When someone said "good shift" to her in passing, she almost did not answer. Then she did. Her voice was steady, even if her heart beat faster than normal. Adam noticed the change too. He did not point it out or make a big deal of it. He simply continued as he always had. He walked beside Kayla when their paths crossed. He spoke to her with the same calm tone. He smiled the same simple smile. But now, others watched him, less with confusion and more with thought. If the human was not afraid, maybe there was no reason to be. Kayla began to receive requests for help. A maintenance crew asked her to check a support frame. A transport leader asked her opinion on load balance. These were things she had always known how to do, but now others asked instead of assuming or avoiding her. She answered clearly and worked with care, just as she always had. The difference was that she was seen. One cycle, Kayla passed through a busy junction and heard someone speak her name. She stopped, surprised. A small alien technician waved at her, holding a data pad. "Could you look at this with me?" the technician asked. Kayla nodded and leaned down to see the screen. They worked together for several minutes. When it was done, the technician smiled and said, "Thank you." Kayla stood there for a moment after, feeling something warm and heavy in her chest. It was not pride. It was not relief. It was belonging. Later that cycle, Kayla and Adam shared another quiet meal. They sat in the same maintenance bay as before. The space felt different now, less empty. "I think things are changing," Kayla said. Adam nodded. "I noticed." "You did not plan it," she said. Adam shook his head. "I just treated you the way I treat everyone." Kayla looked at him carefully. "That is why it mattered." Adam thought about that but did not argue. As cycles passed, the station grew more comfortable with Kayla's presence. She still stood out. She was still enormous. But fear no longer followed her like a shadow. Instead, there was respect and sometimes even curiosity. Younger workers asked her questions. New arrivals watched how others treated her and followed their lead. Adam's simple choice had spread without force. Kayla understood then that humanity's strength was not fearlessness. Adam had felt fear before. She had seen it in dangerous moments. But he did not let fear decide his actions. He chose kindness instead. He chose attention. He chose to see a person before a shape. That choice had changed her life. One cycle, Kayla stood near a viewport and watched ships arrive and depart. The station felt different now. Not safer, not quieter, but warmer. She knew the old memories would never fully fade. But they no longer ruled her. She was not alone anymore. And that was enough.